Okay, this video is going to be about organizing your project into multiple files. Okay, so basically what you can do is you can separate your HTML files from your CSS files and also separate your JavaScript into a separate file as well. And this helps with your code organization. You can have multiple JavaScript files, multiple CSS files. It's generally good as projects become large to modularize them into smaller files. It helps with the organization, it helps you navigate your system that you're building. Okay, so let's start in by logging into the CS server. Okay, we're gonna make a project in public HTML. So let's change directories to public HTML. Okay, so we've got some stuff in there. Let's create a directory called multi-file. Okay, we have it, and we have the correct permissions for the web server to access it. The reason this is correct is because the parent folder had the correct permissions. So anything you make under it, it assumes those permissions. Alright, let's cd into our project directory. We can try to visit this . Multi-file. Okay, now we don't have anything in this directory, and if I didn't specify a file like file.html in the web address, if I don't specify a file, it automatically looks for index.html, but we don't have one of those, it's empty. So let's make one of those real quick. So we'll use Pico. That's our title, and the actual content we have, do an h1 tag, okay, that should be enough to let us know if it's working. Control O, Control X, OS-L, index.html. It has read permissions, which is enough for the web server. So let's reload. Multi-file project. There we go. So it's working. Notice I didn't specify index.html up here. Let me go ahead and do that. And we get the same thing. Now let's move that file. We'll rename it to something that's not index.html, and I'll show you that the web browser won't pick it up by going just to that folder. Okay, so move index to okay, we've got some file.html, it's not index anymore. So here it's not found. And if we go to multi-file, just the directory name, it's going to look for index.html, but it won't find it. It says forbidden. Okay, so if I move that back to some file, move it to index .html -l. We're back in business. There we go. Alright, let's create a second web page. Second page, we'll just call it page 2. We'll use the touch command to make it touch page 2.html. Okay, we've got 2 pages. Okay, let's go into page 2.html. Technically, we should have a doc type HTML at the top, but the web browsers are pretty forgiving. So on some of these examples, I'm leaving that out. But if you did anything professional, you would definitely want doc type HTML at the top. All right. Do title tag, page 2. We'll do h1. Okay. Now let's go ahead and make a link back to our index page, our home page. Okay, so the A tag is an anchor tag, and if you click on it, it creates a hyperlink, and whatever the href hyperlink reference points to, index.html, which is a local file on our web server. You can also point to other URLs, but we're just navigating within our own site here, so I just type in index.html. Alright, take a quick look over it. Looks good. Control O saves, Control X exits, and let's go into index and make an A tag to link to page 2. The child text of the A tag is what's displayed on the link. The href is where it actually goes, or where it actually navigates to. Okay, let's save this. Reload our page. Now we have this page 2 link, and it goes home. Okay, we have the beginning of a site. Alright, now let's say we want to add some styles. So let's go to index.html, and we want to add styles, so we do that inside of the head tag. And we want to say anything with the red text class makes the color of the text red. So I can go down here to h1, I can say class equals red text. There we go. Now let's say I want page 2 heading to be red also. Well, I would have to define that inside the file currently. That's not very useful. What if I want to reuse the styles that I've already created on another page? Well, there is a way to do that. So what we can do is we can separate this CSS that we've made into another file. So let's say we have style.css. Okay. CSS stands for cascading style sheets. All right. So basically what we write in this file is just anything that we would normally write inside of the style tag. So we would do .red text. So the dot means any class that says red text. That's the selector. Look for any tag that has a class of red text and then apply these styles. Color red. Okay, so it's a very simple style sheet we have. We only have one style defined. So I'll save that. We'll clear the terminal and take a look at what's inside that file that we just made. So cat style.css. There it is. Alright, let's go back into index. Now instead of this style tag, we just need to import the file we just made, the style.css file. So to do that, inside the head tag, you create a link tag. You're linking another document to this document. Okay. The rel attribute stands for relate. How does this document relate to the current document? The document we're linking is a style sheet. So that's how it relates. The type of document is text/CSS, and then we have a hyperlink reference, an href, and this is style.css. Okay, this tag you can self-close or not close. It's a void element, it has no children. I like to close most tags just because it's easier to remember. Okay, so if I save this file, exit, and we go to page 2, we see it's red. That's good. Let's go to page 2 and it's still black. Let's make that one red as well. So we go Pico, page 2, and we're going to add a link tag in here. Use the rel tag. How does it relate to this document? It's a style sheet. We're going to use, we're going to tell the type of document. It's text-based and it's cascading style sheet. Right, and then we have the hyperlink reference, the href, style.css, and I like to self-close it. Control O saves, Control X. We go to page 2. Let's see if we get any errors in the console. What are we missing? Relative. This directory. View sources. Oh, that's the reason. I didn't add the class to our heading. So it is linking the document fine. We needed to add the class red text. Alright. There we go. So now the home page and page 2 both have red headings. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and add the doc type to the index. Okay, so that's good. We now have a pretty nice structure here. We've got our index page, a second page, and these two pages are sharing this style. It's really nice if you have multiple pages, they can all share styles you've created. Alright, now let's add some JavaScript. Okay, so let's go back into Pico and look at index. So at the bottom of the body tag is where you add the script. Script tag inside of the script. Technically, you should add type text / JavaScript, but the browsers are very forgiving. So technically, again, if you're doing a professional site, that you would want to add that. Similar to up here. The type. Alright, so in the script tag we can do a simple console.log hello index. Let's save the file, reload, and look at our console. It says hello index. Okay, let's say we wanted to make this a function. We can declare a function with the function keyword. Function index hello. The name of the function is index hello, and the code goes in the curly brackets. So I'm just going to put console.log in there. Okay, now notice I've just declared the function. I haven't called it. I haven't executed the function. So this is basically just information that's ready to be executed. But I haven't actually explicitly executed the index hello function yet. So when I save this, if we look back in the console, there should be nothing in there. Reload. Did I not save it? Oh, I didn't save it. There we go. Reload. Okay. The console log is gone. Alright. Now if I execute this function, index hello, that's the name of the function, index hello. To execute it, you write the name of the function, left and right parentheses. Some functions will take arguments. And you would separate those arguments with commas. Okay? We're not using any arguments for this, so it's left and right parentheses, nothing inside, and that executes the contents of this function, the body of it. Okay? So function is the keyword that tells JavaScript you're defining a function. The next set of characters is the name of the function. It must start with an alphabetical character. It can have numbers and underscores in it, but it must start with an alphabetical character. Okay, then left and right parentheses, any arguments your function has. So we could do arg1, arg2, and then when we called it, we could supply it with some data. then this variable arg1 would get sum, and arg2 would get the value data. Okay, but that's a little beyond what we're doing so far. So we're just going to have no arguments. Very simple function. The curly brackets indicate the body of the function. So whatever's inside the curly brackets, that's what gets executed when you call the function. Okay, so let's just rename this to log something, and there's going to be some text, or we'll call it say hello. It's a classic example. Say hello, and we'll give it a name. Okay, so I'm going to log, let's remove this for now. I'm going to log to the console hello, this string of characters surrounded by quotes, and then I'm going to add to that string, concatenate the strings together, so whatever I add to a string is put on the end of it. So I'm going to put on the end whatever data is stored in the variable name, and then I'm going to add an exclamation point. Okay, so down here when I call the function say hello, I can put in index, because that's the page, and you don't forget your semicolons. Okay, so I'm calling the function say hello, which is defined right here, function say hello. I'm passing in the argument index, which is string value. That string value is stored in the variable name here. Then I'm logging to the console hello, comma, I'm adding the contents of this variable, which will be index, so it should say hello, comma, index, and then I'm adding an exclamation point to the end of it. Alright, let's save this and see what we have. Hello, index. And just to make sure, since that was what we had before, let's make it all caps. Oops. Reload, there, capital. Now let's say we want to use this function in our other page to say hello on that page as well. Well, you can link scripts the same way you can link style sheets, but you don't use the link element, the link tag, you use script. Okay, so we're going to use in the head tag, since we're including an external JavaScript library, basically. You create a script tag, you say type equals text slash JavaScript, and then the source, so the source code of your script. It's kind of like href here. I think it's a shame that these tags are so different when they're basically doing the same thing, but that's the way it works. Script tags, when you're importing a script, you have to use src, kind of like the image tag. So the source, we'll call it JS, or we'll call it say hello because that's what it does, .js. And this is a weird tag. It doesn't have any children, but you have to explicitly close it. You can't self-close it. So when you're importing an external JavaScript file, you have to explicitly close the tag, even though there's no children. Okay. So now we can get rid of this function say hello, and in our script tag down here, we'll just call this function that we defined up in this file. So let's make that file and define that function real quick. So I'm going to create a new file called sayhello.js. I'm going to create a function, say hello. It takes one argument, name. I have my curlies, and I'm going to log to the console I'm going to log hello, comma, space, and then add to that string whatever is stored in the name variable, and then add to that an exclamation point. So let's look and see if we did it right. Say hello. Let's look at the contents. We have a JavaScript function. That looks good. Pico index. We have our script tag in the head. We're loading this library. We have sayhello.js as the source, and we're explicitly closing the tag. Then in our documents script tag in the body, now this stuff is basically what you want to execute just on this page. So on page 2 we're going to make it say hello page 2 here instead of indexed. That's why this is separated from this. The stuff in here is reusable. We're putting stuff that can be used in both pages in this file. Okay, and then we're actually using it here in the body tag. At the very bottom you make your script tag. Okay, so let's see if this works. Reload the page, hello index. Okay, now let's make sure it works on page 2. Okay, so we want to import the library we just created. It's a script. The type is text/JavaScript. The source is sayhello.js. We have to explicitly close that tag. Okay. Then here we're going to make this page's JavaScript, which we could also link to a separate file, but we're not going to. Type text JavaScript. Okay, so now I should have access to that say hello function that I made. Say hello. Oops, caps lock. Say hello. And here I'm going to pass in different information. I'm going to say page 2. Alright, so if this works, I will have imported our say hello library, all the functions in there. There's only one right now, and it's just say hello. And I can use it on this page now. So I'm reusing code, which is really nice, especially when your application gets very large. Save the file. Let's go to page 2. Okay. We've got something here, an issue. Okay, page 2 is not linking. Alright, let's take a look at why. Pico page 2. Oh, there it is. I misspelled script. Alright, now that's a great example of why you need to test as soon as you save your file. Don't write a whole lot of code before you test. If you write a whole lot of code and then it breaks like this, you don't know what went wrong. We only changed one small thing here. We added this script tag and we added this, so we know it had to be somewhere in the areas that we changed, right? So it's really important to test it as soon as, for every little small change you make. So we save page 2, reload page 2, hello page 2. So we can go back and forth, and we're reusing the JavaScript from that library, and we're reusing the styles. Okay, and if we look at our project now, ls-l, we have 2 pages, index.html, page2.html. We have a JavaScript library of functions and variables and things that we can reuse, and we have a style file of all the styles that we can reuse between the pages. Okay, and you can organize this further by creating directories for your styles. You can have a style directory and have all sorts of different style files in there. Same with your JavaScript, and generally your JavaScript will have a lot of different files. Your projects will, if they become reasonably large. Okay, so this is just the basics of how to start a project that has multiple files to help you keep your code clean and organized. Okay, so that's about it. Thanks.